extra butter at home. On this edition, we'll take you behind the scenes of The Invisible Man. See The Invisible Man. I mean, you won't see him, but we'll tell you why you should get the Blu-ray, DVD, and all the extras you will see. David Spade drops by virtually and is at his best in The Wrong Missy. Why it's the right movie for right about now. The High Note hits all the high notes that are the right notes for right about now. That and more on this edition of Extra Butter. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I'm Mark S. Allen. Thanks for joining the show on YouTube and, of course, on AFN Worldwide. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing okay in your locked downness. Speaking of lockdownness, my co-host today, one of my best friends on the planet, stand-up comedian Steph Sanders. How are you?
Woo! I'm good, Mark. I'm so glad to be talking to a human being and seeing you at least in this, even a virtual world. I'm so glad to see somebody else other than myself in the mirror. I am.
Steph, what's it like being a stand-up comedian during this lockdown time?
What's it like? It's being a sit down on your computer comedian during this time. It was, I tell you, the first 48 hours of the pandemic, the lockdown, I lost 36 shows. And so, you're kind of like, what are we going to do from here? The next thing we know, every comedian is being creative, trying to stay relevant and just getting on social media. And then we're doing Zoom shows. So I'm doing shows. I've made my house, a room in my house, a studio, and just with a mic. So I'm, it's just to keep myself from going crazy and keep myself sharp. I've written so much, but I've written all I can write. I've watched every TV show I can watch. It's crazy, but it's going to be the new normal for us for a minute. So, hey, you just adjust.
I know, man. You had just taped your TV special. I think you had just gotten back from London, as did I, right when the pandemic hit. So hang in there, and I can't wait to be your virtual audience for your next stand-up show. And we'll link all that info in just a minute, okay?
That's right. Thank you.
All right. In the meantime, let's talk about The Invisible Man. This is the last movie to hit theaters before the theater shutdown. It was very quickly segued onto the screen. Universal Pictures did a great thing. It's been streaming for a while, but now's the first day you can own it.
Yeah, and I'm going to own it. I've watched it 3 times since this pandemic started. I love it. I love the movie. I love everybody in it, the cast. I think the story, the plot was genius. Like, somebody could, fake their death and then not really. It was genius. I love it.
What I love about this movie is that the more breakout discussions happen, the more you realize you missed, which is why you would go back to see it a second or a third time.
Exactly. Yes. Several things. I was like, wait a minute, did that happen? And wait a minute, did I really see that? Yeah. I loved it. Again, I'm going to own this because I want to watch it more. I love Storm in the movie. I love Elisabeth Moss. All this. I loved everybody in this movie.
Yeah, Elisabeth Moss is phenomenal. Storm is great in it. I mean, she has come so far in such a short amount of time. I wanted to ask you, do you remember that discussion we had with the cast right before the pandemic?
I do. I love that roundtable discussion, too, we had with the cast. That was really insightful and entertaining for me.
Yeah, exactly. We got the cast together to kind of have their own discussion about the movie, about the discussions you're probably having right before. Take a look.
We need each other, don't we?
Are you okay? Go.
What was important to me about Cecilia is that just because she's in an abusive relationship or she's coming out of it, it doesn't mean she's weak. It doesn't mean she's not strong.
He has figured out a way to be invisible.
There's a certain perspective that I was missing, and when we met up, there was a real collaboration in terms of the truthfulness of the story.
For me, it's so unique. It runs on these 2 parallel paths. Lee and I's first conversation was, the first thing we want to do is have it be really scary. If it's not scary, nothing works. But then there was Cecilia and her coming out of this abusive relationship and what it's like as a woman having something like that happen to you and then no one believes you.
He's right there. I see you.
I think it is really important to see someone going through a situation, having to fight for their own value, to understand I'm worth something, I'm valuable, right? How do I get out of this?
I found something that can prove what I'm experiencing.
That's the journey we get to see. This is just going through and saying, I still have to fight for me.
Anybody trying to prove that they haven't lost their mind is probably challenging, but for a woman, there's more opportunity for people not to believe you.
It's very difficult to marry those two things and to make something that is entertaining and scary, and you want to go to a theater and you want to eat popcorn, you want to scream and then laugh, and at the same time have a complex, compelling, and real story about this woman.
Show yourself! Come on!
There you are.
Man, what I can tell is that each of them is a little bit tight-lipped because they're afraid they're going to give something away for people that haven't seen the movie.
Right. But you know what? They could have given it away, and still we would have seen stuff that wasn't seen. Or we didn't hear about. This is a phenomenal, well done movie.
Okay, you can put in contents a little bit later on, but I want to ask you right now. I hate to put you on the spot. Okay, but the scene with his brother, and I don't want to give this away, but like something happens with his brother. Do you think his brother had been involved several times in that way, or do you think that might have been the first time his brother did that thing with the deal?
You know what? When I first watched the movie, I thought his brother was involved the whole time. But when I watched it again, I said his brother was just as taken aback as we were. I think that was the first time.
Hey, hang on, I gotta find something out. I'm sorry, did you have a question back there? I'm sorry, pandemic times, my dog came into the room and seemed like she was troubled. Had some questions about Elisabeth Moss. What's that? Yes, you can sniff my butt again. And yes, I did ask Elisabeth Moss to read sections of the script. If you haven't seen the movie, this is super compelling. Take a look.
She peels back the silk sheets of the expensive bed. She does this slowly and soundlessly, revealing someone's arm draped over her waist. She seems like she is barely keeping a lid on her anxiety, like it could bubble over at any moment and consume her. She grips the arm and carefully hoists it off her body like she was handling a stick of dynamite. She sits up, getting a read on the male body dozing next to her. Though it's dark, we get the shape and tone of an athletic man in his late 30s. His name is Adrian Griffin. Even while sleeping, his facial expression is disapproving.
How awesome was that, Steph?
That was dope. I gotta admit, especially as an actor too, that was dope. And she has the greatest voice. She can read a Tyler Perry script and I would love it.
I would pay to listen to her read the phone book. Oh wait, you know what? Now millennials just said, what's a phone book?
What's a phone book, right? She can read the New Testament and I'll be happy.
Thank you very much. All right, so out now on Blu-ray DVD. It's been streaming for a while. You think you've already seen it, but I highly recommend that you buy it. The extras on the Blu-ray DVD are amazing. Hey, can you stick around for a minute?
I can. I have nowhere to go but my kitchen.
The same way. So speaking of funny, David Spade is back being very David Spady in The Wrong Missy. We're going to talk about that with our funny guy Steph Sanders and more when Extra Butter continues. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter. Hanging out with my good friend Steph Sanders, the currently, like you are, quarantined comedian. How are you?
I'm great. I'm stir crazy, but I'm great. I try to go to different rooms of my house and make up like they're clubs or restaurants and something.
You pretend like you're at the Comedy Store, and each room of your house is like the original room, the belly room, all the famous rooms.
Yes, the belly room. Exactly, yeah.
All right, so The Wrong Missy. Let's talk about this. This is right up your alley. You're a comedian. You got to like funny stuff. David Spade runs with a funny pack. What'd you think about The Wrong Missy?
Man, let me tell you, when I first saw the movie, and I'm a David Spade fan, I was like, oh man, it's probably going to be not that funny or kind of cheesy. I love this movie. And you know who I love in this? Lauren Lapkus. She destroyed her role.
She did. In the movie, she plays the worst date ever. In fact, that helps me set up the clip. If you haven't seen it, this kind of sets it up. Here she is playing what becomes an ongoing part of the movie as the worst date ever. Take a look.
We're trying to have a romantic dinner date here?
What do you think we're trying to have, huh? And so you interrupted us.
Okay. Hey, my boyfriend's gonna kick your
No, he's not. I'm going to the restroom real quick and I'll be back.
Right after he gets back, he's kicking your ass.
Yeah.
Tim?
Oh!
What you doing?
Hey, you. Good. You got me. I was climbing out the window and run around. I was gonna come back in and sneak up on you.
God, we are funny together.
Oh, yeah.
That said, we have to leave the restaurant right now.
Why? What happened?
When you went to the bathroom, Aquaman started mouthing off again, so I sort of flashed him.
You flashed him your breasts?
No, I didn't flash him my breasts. I showed him Sheila.
Like your Sheila?
No, my friend, my protector, Sheila.
Man, Steph, and if that would have been just her only scene in the movie, I think she would have been nominated. If there were an Academy of Funny Awards, she would have been nominated for that one scene alone.
When they killed, killed it.
You know what's remarkable about that role and about this movie is that it starts staying right in the lanes of David Spade, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, all the movies we've seen them in forever. And then all of a sudden it kind of modernizes and has a character arc and some weird stuff we haven't seen before.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
I want to take you back on a history tour, and this is another opportunity for you to make fun of my hair and probably my wardrobe. Back in the day, David Spade tried a romantic comedy not unlike this. It is called Lost and Found. One of the Bond girls, Sophie Marceau, played his other half, and I sat down with him. He's remarkably unchanged. Me, a lot. Take a look.
Clara, quit dropping things. We all know what you're doing under there.
It slipped, I swear.
6 times.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Very funny in this movie. We would expect no less from you. You
I
did a
hope.
Fantastic job.
If you think I'm funny, I think this is pretty much up your alley.
Well, more important than the funny stuff, you're actually naked in it. And I think that's going to sell a lot of tickets right there.
A lot of the chicks, that's what they want. It's nudity. It's a little makey-outy with Sophie. I think Sophie's going to bring in some dudes.
I think so, too.
She's hot.
I want to ask about this. I don't know the whole procedure. I know that you command a lot of, you can command a lot of cash for a movie. You're a big star, you deserve it. But when they tell you that someone like Sophie Marceau is going to be in it, do you say, you know, guys, I'll do it for free?
Yeah, I say, take whatever you need from my money and give it to her, because I didn't think we would get someone like her, because it wasn't a huge budget. It wasn't like Batman Returns. It was just a cute movie that we wanted to do that I've been trying to get off the ground for a couple years. And Warner Brothers came on to do it and sent it to Sophie in Poland, where she hangs out. There's a toddling country.
Sure.
And she read it and flew in a day later, all the way over to my house to meet me here in LA. And she said, I like it, I want to do it. And I was like, weren't you in Braveheart? Aren't you in real movies?
It's David Spade, ladies and gentlemen.
Grab the babies and grab the old ladies and everyone goes.
Nice job. Good to see you.
Because everyone knows Brother Loves show.
What's going on with that?
I know. I knew you were going to say that, and believe me, I would have had the producers cut it out if we could have, but my question was integral to the segment, if you know what I'm saying. But I wanted to show that it's not his first foray into trying to do a romantic comedy like this. He's come a long way. I love The Wrong Missy. If you like that, maybe go back and watch Lost and Found, right?
Yes.
We're back to talking about The Wrong Missy again. If you haven't seen this streaming, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. We popped it on. You know how you put on movies in the background, not even planning on watching them? You just think, oh, let's have that on while we make dinner, right?
Yes.
Right. We ended up skipping dinner and loving this movie. I've told everybody about it. How about you? Have you recommended it to people?
Oh, yes, I have. I told everybody. As a matter of fact, I had people come over and put it on like you said in the background. We had a little social distancing thing for the birthday.
Yeah.
Fun. And they came over and they were like, what is this movie? It's funny. They started watching it. But
that's the way you do it.
Well, Mark, I got to go, man. The UPS guys here. We have our usual coffee and discussion right now. So I got to.
Okay. It might be the only visitor you have all day. All right, spend some time with that guy. I've got another film critic coming on for the next segment, but then come back in a couple minutes, okay?
I got you.
When we come back, Dakota Johnson, Ice Cube, and Tracee Ross join us to talk about The High Note. A young film critic loved it. We're going to find out why as Extra Butter continues. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter. When we last left off, my special guest, Steph Sanders, had to get the door for the UPS guy, so I have another special guest, ladies and gentlemen, celebrity journalist Taylor Hanson. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, Mark, thanks for having me on.
Now, I reached out to you specifically because of this movie, The High Note. You had said you liked it. You really liked it. Why is that?
Yeah, I really loved the movie. I thought it was such a joy. I thought Tracee Ellis Ross was amazing. We've been hearing that this has been her dream to be able to share her songs with us, her music. And this was an opportunity for her to be able to share her voice with us and come into this role. And she did an amazing job. The music was incredible, and it was such a heartwarming film.
And let's be honest, frankly, I thought this might be one of those disposable films they were just rolling out because of the pandemic, and then watched it and thought, oh my gosh, this is a great movie. I can't wait to see this on a big screen someday.
It's something for everyone to enjoy. It's drama, it's comedy, there's the music, and there's a little bit of romance. So there's something there for everyone.
Yeah, when I was a kid 10 years ago, all right, so I wasn't a kid, but still, 10 years ago, I could have seen Anne Hathaway playing this part. However, now, casting this role, I can't imagine anybody but Dakota in these shoes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's really cool that it kind of parallels how she's kind of, dipped her toe in the music industry a little bit. She helped direct the Coldplay music video, and now here she is in this film about the music industry and playing a personal assistant who wants to, become a record producer. And so I think it's really fitting for the time.
And I grew up in hip hop and R&B radio. That's where I started out. And so I used to interview and hang out with Cube way back in the day. And now to see him as kind of the grizzlied, hardened agent, I love that.
Yeah, he always brings a lot of charisma to the big screen. And so it was really awesome having him be a part of this movie.
Yeah, we caught up with all of them via Zoom a little bit later on to talk about why they did it. Take a look.
I thought the relationship between Grace and Maggie was interesting. I thought people would want to see what it takes to work for somebody that's a superstar. So that was what I thought was real interesting. And playing a character like Jack, when I thought about him, I just knew how I was going to play him because I've seen so many managers over my career. So what made me really want to do this movie and know that it was going to be good, I knew the relationship between Grace and Maggie would be something that the audience would really want to see.
There were a lot of times where I found, whether it was circumstantial or in the script, that Maggie would be apologizing for just kind of existing. But Flora, the writer, and I really worked to make sure that she was confident and really believed in herself. And I think that's an important message to push.
The overarching theme of pursuing your dreams and not letting any naysayers, any circumstances, any time of your life prevent you from being who you are. The fact that it was a female-led story that was about two women that were actually not against each other. I thought that was beautiful. And the fact that I would get to sing. The combination of those things hit me from the beginning. And the truth is, I chased and pursued this project and wanted it.
You could tell Cube would talk for hours about this. I haven't seen him this engaged in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, all of the actors are really excited for this release.
Anytime music is in the score, it seems to be what people want right now. What do you think?
Yeah, well, Mark, I am a sucker for a good motion picture soundtrack. And I have been listening to the 2 songs from this film on Spotify a lot recently. And so I'm really excited for the full release of the soundtrack. But it's music for everyone to enjoy, and it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, it's perfect for right here, right now. Oh, look, I'm getting a text. Steph Sanders, UPS guy, is gone, so I'm going to check in with him about another film. In the meantime, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, of course, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, where do we find you online? Where do we stalk you?
You can find me on all social media platforms at Taylor.hnsn.
All right, Taylor, it's awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. When we come back, the aforementioned Laurel Canyon, yet another movie about music. We'll talk about the stars behind it in real life and the uncovered footage as Extra Butter continues. Don't move. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter. Just about to wrap the show up. A couple things before we go. Some clearinghouse. Steph Sanders has made it back. Hey, did the UPS guy deliver, or did he just come by to say hi?
Hey man, he makes up deliveries and reasons to come by now because we only talk to each other. That's it.
Okay, fantastic. All right, I want to talk about something Epix is bringing us. It's now streaming. It's Laurel Canyon, not the drama movie. This is a 2-part series all about Laurel Canyon and what that meant to the music industry. What'd you think about this, Steph? Before your time, maybe a little before my time too.
Yeah, I looked at it as the LA Woodstock.
One of the biggest bands of the era was the Byrds. You know their songs, For Everything, Turn, Turn, Turn. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. All right, I'm going to stop singing right now because I had a chance to sit down with Chris Hillman, one of the founding members, one of the surviving members of the Byrds, to talk about Laurel Canyon. Take a look.
I felt like it was organic. I wasn't there, but I would like to think this is a great snapshot of how it went down.
It's pretty accurate. We were there real early, and the Byrds were living up there very early on, and early '65, I would say. And then it developed, of course, when Joni Mitchell moved in there in '67, '68, thereabouts, and CSN starts up and all of that. But it brought back some good memories.
Man, that guy, one of the founding members of the Byrds, nothing short of legend, and one of the many legends you're going to see in Laurel Canyon. What I love were all of the extras, all of the sound bites and historical footage that you've never seen before. It's on Epix right now. You were busting my chops during that entire interview about me singing.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. Hey, yeah. For every season.
You probably know the lyrics to that one.
I do. You know why? Because the Gospels has something to say about that. Those are the lyrics from the Bible. So they had something to do with that.
Yeah, I wonder, this is a true story. I think it came out, I've heard this, and I think it's in this series, that they actually did file for publishing rights for the song when there is a season. Every single word in that, except for turn, 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 was in the Bible.
Who gets the royalties for that?
St. Peter, St. Paul,
Right.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, I'm not sure, but they're probably still getting that 43-cent check for the royalties. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out, man. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you this way. I can't wait to see you in real life. In the meantime, how do people find your comedy? Where do we go?
I am Steph Sanders everywhere. YouTube channel, TikTok. I am Steph Sanders. I got a lot of videos on there now, too. I'm doing everything.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you in your bikini busting those moves on TikTok. Steph Sanders, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Can't wait to see you.
Hey, wait, credits are just about over. We need to have you sing us out to the very end of the show. One more time. Hit it.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. For every season overturns. For every season.